Hi everybody, this is Asante. I just wanted to make a small video here to share a little bit about some of the things that I myself work on. I have been practicing um, a spiritual practice since 1994. I've been doing magic long before that, but I didn't consider that a part of my spiritual practice. You can use it as a spiritual practice, but I wasn't. My spiritual practice started when I learned about Hinduism and um, Shaivism, and that's the practice that I currently follow today. I have studied all kinds of different techniques and spiritual practices: Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Hinduism, Kabbalism, and they're all quite similar at the source. There's a thread that moves through all of them that is uh, very similar. Um, but my when I was started doing my spiritual practice, I was high all the time. I was constantly getting high, mainly on cannabis, and I also started taking Prozac, and so Prozac, cannabis, virtually every day. And I would, lie to myself and say that this was, the cannabis was medicine. This was part of my spiritual practice. This was helping me in one form or another. Uh, and what it was doing actually was keeping me from attaining what I was trying to get out of my spiritual practice, um, which was elevated consciousness and a higher and truer sense of myself. And it created like a ceiling, if you will, and I could get to a certain point um, with these practices that I was doing, but I could not ever break through that ceiling, and that was very frustrating for me. I would try everything and end up frustrated and stop for a while and start something new and see if that could get me to that point that I was trying to get to. And I would I would get results, but I would always still hit that ceiling and couldn't get past that. Eventually, I ended up meeting somebody who inspired me to stop with the drugs and also look at my diet, which is a big part of uh, moving into uh, an enlightened state. But that person is somebody you all are very aware of. It's my wife, Sadie, the other part of Merkaba Heart. And I stopped using the cannabis. I stopped using the Prozac, and I adjusted my diet. And really, uh, and after all of that, I found myself in this weird state of like a void. I It was like being born. I went through because I quit it all cold turkey. I didn't like, oh, I'm gonna do a little bit here and there. No, it was just she said, you should stop, or I don't want to be with you if you're doing that. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. And I stopped, and that was that. And that's usually how I do things. And um, so for a year, I was just really lost. I was trying to do spiritual practices. Nothing was working for me. Nothing was connecting to me. I didn't know what was going on. I was very kind of lost. And that was very frustrating for me as well because I'm doing these spiritual practices and I'm getting even less than I was when I was doing them when I was high all the time. So that was very frustrating for me. And I was thinking, should I even keep doing these things? Is this all just a bunch of nonsense? what's happening here. But I continued to do them with her encouragement, and that was key. She encouraged me to continue, and that's a big part of it. I know a lot of people, they may not have that encouragement, and so they have to rely on themselves to keep themselves going, and that can be tough. But I did continue, and I would continue to do my practices, and these are some of these practices uh, I would do, and then I was like, no, this isn't working. Let's try this one, and still no connection. And I have a root practice that was taught to me by a dear friend in 1994, who I consider like my first spiritual teacher, and it's a Shaivism practice, and it's meditation and a few different types of yoga. And I would constantly go back to that, and because that felt really right to me. And um, eventually, after about a year of this struggling or something, maybe even a little longer than that, I started. I I I I did it once one morning, and I remember there was a shift. All of a sudden, there was a shift. It just came out of nowhere. During my practice, that shift happened. Wow, and it affected me, and I made that connection, and it was really quite amazing. I was very happy about that. I was ecstatic. I got out of my practice. I was talking to Sadie. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I finally had a breakthrough. I finally had a breakthrough. And this was a relief for me because I was thinking up to that point, all this spiritual practice stuff is for the birds. This, I don't know. It's not working for me. And but I just had to stay true. I had to stay true and continue to do it, continue to do it, continue to do it through the tough times, times that I was feeling really aggro, times that I was, feeling like I wanted to just say, the heck with this and start using cannabis again or whatever. I would just continue to do my practice, continue to do it, continue to do it. And finally, I had that breakthrough. Since then, it's been kind of skyrocketing and really accelerating. And I have continued with my spiritual practice, and I have really just been working through all of the bedrock of stuff that has been in my consciousness, and I've been really presented with a lot of things that I needed to address. Um, and that's what spiritual practice does. It's not like all rainbows and unicorns like some people might think. It really gets intense, and it did get intense for me and still is, and I'm still looking at things that I need to work on and need to address. Fear is a big one that came up for me. That's something that's been plaguing me since I was a child, and most of the fears that I give attention to never come to fruition. It's always like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? And or something will happen, and then I start spinning out and future tripping. Oh my gosh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Never does. 99% out of every time I ever freaked out like that in my entire life, I can never really remember the bad scenario ever happening. It was always usually quite the opposite, and I was being supported in some way, which is very inspiring. And I was able to actually recognize that and see that now, and it doesn't make it stop happening. Of course, I still, it was still happening, and I still needed to address it and work on it. And since I have addressed it, worked on it, and recognized it, it's been happening less and less, and those times are getting much better and shorter. My reactivity to certain things is another thing that I needed to address, and because I would freak out at the smallest little thing that would not go right or the way that I'd planned it to, and I would send me into crisis mode, and um, oh my gosh, and I would tense up and really lose my shit. And um, I've really been able to look at that and address that, especially since we've started this pilgrimage on the road with our shuttle bus. Um, and that, because you can't, I don't know if you've ever lived in a shuttle bus or lived on the road or anything like that in close quarters with somebody, but you can't be like that. It just doesn't work, and it makes it very unpleasant for the person that you're with, and not only them but for yourself, because it's not a very pleasant way to be and exist. Every time I would freak out, it was horrible, and I would have to live with that. Like, oh gosh, I can't believe I did that again, and it's a very, very uncomfortable, unpleasant, horrible feeling, and so um, I was presented with that, and something that I knew was always happening in my life, but I was never able to look at it and see it for what it was. And now I have been, and it's helped me work on it and address it, and really, really work on changing my reactivity to certain things, and that's been a game changer for me. I still have my moments, but they are smaller and they don't last as long, and so that's really good. I am seeing results, um, and yeah, I'm doing so much work. I have so much more to talk about, but I don't want to, you know, shoot it all into one video. I'm kind of new at making these videos, and most of you who follow us know that I'm usually the quiet one. Sadie is more of the talker and the teacher, and um, so I am just kind of giving my little piece here, hoping that maybe it will connect with somebody and maybe help you if you find yourself going through similar things. The sobriety thing is very important. If you are on a spiritual path, um, and you are using cannabis or some sort of drugs or alcohol or whatever, I would just like to suggest to put it down for, at least 30 days, and then continue on your spiritual practice and see what happens. And then, maybe pick it back up uh, if you so choose to. But I would definitely recommend, uh, putting it down and see what kind of results you get. Because in my experience, you will get results, and they will be uh, pretty amazing. So, I don't know. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about during this video. I will work on making more videos here in the future, and talk a little bit more about some of the things that I am working with, working on, working through, and maybe even include some a little bit more about my past, and yeah, things that are inspiring to me. Um, I am I have always really been interested in uh, working with men in a way that is supportive of a healthier masculine presence on the planet, not such an overbearing, unhealthy masculine presence that is very prevalent. And I've been really trying to figure out how to do that. I myself have had my own issues with even relating to a masculine presence to other men. I haven't really liked other men my entire life, and I haven't had a lot of good male role models. I've had some really traumatic experiences involving other men or boys, and it just kind of really uh, made me shut off my male side, my masculine side, and my ability to connect with other men. And I've really been able to recognize that lately and work with that. And I'll get more into that in another video because that's a deep, deep subject. I could go for a while on that one. So I would like to thank you guys, all of you, for joining me for this little unexpected pop-up video. And I look forward to seeing you on future videos. I'll also be doing a few of my own musical meditations that I'm going to be adding to our YouTube channel and our website, like a didgeridoo meditation and a drum meditation. Sadie and I will both be doing drum meditations and things like that as well. So, but anyways, this is me, Asante. I am signing off now, and I thank you all for joining me. And I look forward to talking with you more in the future and sharing more about my process, and hoping that it is helping some of you out there on your process, in your process, and on your journey. Thank you.